So it must be video day here in Big Jerome's garage. This is a 2003 Polaris Predator 500. I just made a video of this Warrior over there. Someone's coming to look at off Craigslist. This Predator, when I got it, I had pretty much all the pieces. The motor and everything that's missing was in a box. You can see there's the front plastics and that little side cover. This thing was taken to a friend's shop of mine, and somehow he ended up getting it. And most of the time, when he tells people how much it's going to cost to fix it, they don't want to come back for it. So for this one, the transmission had issues. It was one gear that was messed up. So somehow my friend ended up with it. I don't know if he ended up taking it on trade on some other work from the guy, or if the guy just never showed up. But my friend basically told me he wanted a certain price for it. Said I could have whatever profit I got off of it after that. So I basically took this thing home, and the head was already in a box. Put that in a listing on eBay and sold it, I think, like a day or two later. It pretty much paid for the bike. I think I got like $475 for the head, which was good. But this rolling frames, the wheels are great looking. The rims, the shocks look nice and clean. The rear axle is really clean. The seats will fade. The plastics aren't much to look at. The brakes still work. There's a lot of good pieces on here. And the bad thing is, I just listed this thing, or it's been listed for a while on Craigslist, $500 for what you see, the rolling frame. Which, really, if you look on eBay and you priced everything out, the front brakes, the rear brakes, the shocks, front and rear, all that stuff, I mean, it would probably end up getting close to $500. The hubs, the axles, all that stuff, A-arms. Problem is, guy's coming tonight, and I'm out here power washing it. You can see the ground's a little wet. And what do I see? Crack in the frame, or broken frame all the way through. And I wish I would have seen that before he came. He's coming in a couple, maybe 2 hours. Whoops, Zoom kind of got me. He's coming in a couple hours, and I don't have a chance to fix that today. So might not sell it today. We'll have to see exactly what his purpose was for it. I don't know how I feel about going down on the price, because the frame doesn't mean a whole lot to me anyway, but all the other stuff does. So we'll see. If he ends up not buying it, I'm not exactly sure what I'll do. Either I'll get that fixed, which I don't think it'd be much to it, get that fixed, or possibly just part out the rest of it. My brother actually took my welder that I had here at the house. So if I wanted to get it fixed, I could probably take it to his work, which is only a couple miles away, and get it welded up. But we'll have to see what the guy says when he gets here, or if he gets here. Like I said, I sent him a message to see if he wanted to still come look at it. But I wish I would have seen it yesterday. Now, if you watch my videos the other day, I mentioned that I did have or I just picked up another Predator in here in the garage. This is an 05 Polaris Predator that I picked up. This one has front end damage on the right. The rim was all bent up. In that video, I mentioned how I was going to take off the top end and put it on eBay and all that kind of stuff, which I did. The top end is on eBay. The problem is, the head had two bent valves in it, and I've already sold it. I sold it about 2 days later, but I didn't get what I was thinking. Ended up selling the head for $199, which, $200, not bad. I paid $3 for the whole bike. So the head almost paid for the whole thing. If the head would have been in good shape, it would have been easily over $400. Carburetor and stuff. But you might remember this one from being in the other video, being in the back of my truck, and then I showed it in here, and I showed the head and stuff on the table. But yeah, so this one, funny story, if you got time. The guy that was selling this, he wanted $350 for it. Talked about how the motor ran. Well, obviously the motor didn't run because the valves were bent when I got there, and I probably should have figured that, because the top cover of the motor was off. So I probably could have figured that it was some kind of an issue. But anyway, so I get there, and he's saying, yeah, this thing's $350. I think it's a good price. There's one on Craigslist right now for 500 bucks, and it doesn't have a motor. Well, he's talking about mine. He's talking about that the one out there, the rolling frame. So he was basing his price off of this one here, which, to be honest, if you look at this thing, that frame, other than the brake, up until this point, the wheels and everything, much better looking than the one in the garage. The one in here is pretty rough compared to that one, and actually the front end's all bent up. Radiator's bent, and I'm pretty sure that the A-arms maybe are bent. I know the rim is for sure. But in the red one out there, actually, I've got a whole box of parts over here still. I've got that radiator, the air box, and the box there is full of parts, I believe. I can't really tell, but yeah, I think it is. So, yes, so it was pretty funny. The guy was like, yeah, there's one on there right now with no motor for 500, and this one here should definitely be worth, you know, 350 with a running motor. Well, valves are bent. I mean, all the controls are messed up. Radiator's bent. Can't even sell, you know, full set of rims. The plastics look a little bit better, but I mean, it's not that big of a deal. But anyway, just figured I'd show you this rolling frame and the Predator and stuff. I was out here, had to pull it out to wash it, so I figured I'd make you a video. Have a good one, and I'll catch you next time.